Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Allie, and today I'm here to talk about something that I've never really talked about before on social media or really in general, and that is weight, insecurity, and just overall health. I kind of wanted to make this like a monthly thing where you can come in and we can kind of work as a community to like check in with each other and see how we're doing in terms of mental health, regular health, weight loss, everything like that. My cat is like having a coronary embolism, so please just ignore that. But yeah, that's what I'm here to talk about today. If that's not something you're interested in, I do talk about other things, organization, food, which is actually related to this video. But hey, so yeah, that's what this kind of is. I wanted to have a place where we can talk about that stuff. So I have a little note card here, so I'm going to try to go in order. This could potentially be a long video, but before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe before you leave. My growth, as usual, is really slow going. I also have a YouTube, I also have a beauty YouTube channel, so if you're interested in subscribing to that, it's always linked down below. I also have 2 Instagrams. I have one for this account and one for my beauty account, but honestly, they kind of, you know, they overlap, things overlap. So let's get started. I am going to just start talking about insecurities because I feel like that's something that I've struggled with. It's something a lot of people have struggled with, and I just have a couple of things that I've learned throughout the process. And like my weight loss journey began way before it ever needed to. I've just struggled in the past with disordered eating habits, over exercising, binging and purging and things like that. I've struggled with it in the past. It's not something that I currently struggle with, and that's great. But it took me a long time to overcome that stuff. And I think part of the reason I've always felt that way, I've always been an athlete. I've always been someone who likes to push my body as much as I can. Like when I just get in this mindset of like pushing my body, I can do anything I want. And I kind of learned that from a very young age. So I've just always been that way. So as I got older, around college age, I began to gain weight, and most of it was because I wasn't an athlete anymore. I wasn't playing sports 3 times a year. I wasn't working out 7 days a week. I was just kind of living a normal life. I went well beyond the freshman 15 though, and when I graduated from college, I didn't love the way I looked. But again, I worked an office job, and luckily in office settings generally, or at least the place where I worked, everyone was pretty healthy. So I was really lucky in the sense that I worked around people that kind of motivated me to like eat healthier, work out, do things like that. That's when I ran my first half marathon because I had a lot of people rallying around me that were very supportive. My husband's in the military. He was my boyfriend at the time, but that motivates me because he's always trying to live his best life. My dad was in law enforcement, so he was always trying to live his best life. So literally everyone was around me living their best lives, so I had no excuses. But after that, that was probably when all of this is like 2014, 2015 was when my health and different things started affecting me in different ways. And it was the first time I'd ever been exposed to the bodybuilding community, macro counting, personal trainers and things like that. And so I kind of delved into that community, and I was really, really, really interested in it. I actually wanted to be a personal trainer. Fun fact, I failed the test. Mostly because I focused on like the wrong things. I feel like if you're not in that particular subset, you don't really know how to study for it. And the bulk of the test, or at least the bulk of my test, was math, and I had studied 0 math. So it was kind of my fault. I'm kind of interested in doing that again, mostly because it's just become like my albatross, this like thing that I tried to do and then didn't do. So anyway, I was first introduced to that. I did a 12-week challenge with, actually, I don't even remember the girl's name because she's no longer on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that, but she was a really big deal. She was like the founder of one of the Facebook groups I was in, and I was just really into her. She was like a power lifter but also a bodybuilder, and she was someone that like, despite being in the fitness industry, like struggled with her weight, and I really resonated with that. So I joined a 12-week challenge. I didn't win, but it did teach me a lot about macro counting and different things like that. It did work for a while. I definitely plateaued, and I'll get into how I feel about macro counting in a second, or the whole idea of like IIFYM, eating like well-balanced macros, things like that, because I definitely have feelings about it, and I don't feel the same way I did back then as I do now. But I saw the most results when I was carb cycling for sure, but the plan kind of had us working out like 3 hours a day, which wasn't feasible for me, or it was feasible at the time, but like wouldn't be feasible now, and then became unfeasible for me. So it was like not a good first dip into like the fitness community, but I was still really inspired and feeling really good about it, and my body looked good. But after that, I started graduate school and things just kind of went downhill. I really didn't put my health first. I didn't put in all aspects, mental, physical, everything like that. I wasn't putting my health first. And I realized that if I wanted to get healthy in the body, I needed to get healthy in the mind. So I started going to therapy. I went on medication for anxiety, depression, and OCD. So just a little tidbit into that. But getting healthy that way really helped me to attempt to get better physically, but I wasn't able to do that for a little bit. Things just happened in my life. I was in the process of getting married. I actually, as bad as it sounds, I really hated my wedding photos because I put so much pressure on myself to try to lose weight, and instead I ended up gaining weight. My dress barely fit me. It was just like not the best time. And I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't like the way I looked, and it was just not the best time. So when I moved to Maryland, it was kind of the same thing. I hated my job. I wasn't good mentally. I started going to therapy again, and this all culminated into the end of last year, where I felt like I was finally in a good place mentally, where I didn't want to be on medication anymore for my anxiety and stuff. I wanted to try a different approach. It began to make me feel like I couldn't handle my emotions by myself. And this all connects to food and diet, I promise. Just give me a minute. But I really just felt like I wasn't doing myself any favors by relying on medication, because I realized there are definitely people that need medication, and this is not a video to talk about that. I think it needs to be with the guidance of a doctor, and my doctors were fully supportive of me going off of medication. My doctor at the time, who's no longer my doctor, and that's a whole other story, but she was very supportive of it because she felt like I was in a good place mentally to be able to handle my emotions, and I was very aware of like, hey, if this happens, I need to go back on it, or if this happens, I need to go back to therapy. So I was very aware of things. It wasn't something I did by myself. So I did that, and after doing that, I started to gain weight because I was on a medication that stifled my appetite, which was great for someone that suffers with or that struggles with binge eating. Is like a gift to not want to binge eat. That's one of the reasons my initial psychiatrist put me on that medication, was because I told her like I eat my feelings all the time. So I did notice that for a few months I couldn't control my eating. Like it was one of those things where like I just couldn't. I felt out of control. I felt like I wasn't myself, and obviously I put on weight. And this all kind of escalated until I got to a point where I realized food doesn't have to be an emotional thing. It's all a mindset to me now. It wasn't then. And again, these update videos will be coming, I don't know how frequently yet, but fairly frequently. But yeah, so all of this is culminating into, I decided to make a change in my life. I felt like I was finally good mentally. I was getting into a good place. We're getting ready to move soon, and I'm really excited about it. Things so far are going good. I have a plan. I'm either going to stay here while I'm looking for jobs, or if I find one, I'm going to be going with my husband. But either way, I have an apartment now, and it's been really good. Things are good. And so I felt like if I ever had a good time to really try to dedicate to my physical health, now was the perfect time, because it takes what, a month to become a habit. So I'm hoping that now a lot of these things have become habits. So when I move, I'll be able to take these things with me as I move, you know, falling back into those old traps. So one of the things that I started doing was exercising. I've had a gym membership since I moved here. And honestly, I've used it since I've moved here. But I realized just in the past month or two that I'm not one of those people that is lucky enough to, I don't know at what point that stopped filming. I'm strong in the sense of like physical strength or whatever. Like my shoulders are pretty big. I've always had broad shoulders. I've always had strong legs. I've always had a pretty strong core. So I'm blessed in that sense. But I noticed that as much as I love lifting weights, that wasn't getting me anywhere in terms of physical fitness. So I really wanted to try and find a good system to use to help me in that aspect. So what I use for lifting is actually the Tone and Sculpt app. I've been using it since January, but I will admit that I haven't really started using it as much and as good as I'm using it now. But I love that app. I think the app is so cohesive. It's so well done. The workouts are amazing. There's like weekly workouts, but there's also circuits. There's at-home workouts. There's like 15-minute body blasters if you don't have time for a full workout. Like it's literally the best thing ever. I love, love, love the Tone and Sculpt app. It was developed by Chrissy Chella. She's here on YouTube. I'll link her down below. She's like an amazing, she's honestly someone that I really look up to. I tagged her in a post and she DM'd me and took the time out of her day to like talk to me about body image and different things like that. And I was like, how amazing that someone that has like millions of followers, thousands of followers, took the time out to talk to someone that doesn't have any. And I wasn't tagging her for clout. Like if you follow me on Instagram, I tag everybody and everything. Like it's just a thing that I do. I do it because if I'm referencing someone, I might as well tag them as opposed to just referencing them. But it was just so nice of her to reach out in that way. And she is one of those people, like one of those very rare social media people that to her fans and her subscribers, she treats them very well. And she treats us like humans. She listens to a lot of feedback in terms of the Tone and Sculpt app. It's just... I can't say enough good things about her. Like I love her. I feel like if I met her, like I would connect with her. Like I just love her. So I've been using that, and like I said, I had it since its birth, but I just started really using it the correct way this month, the past couple months, and the workouts are great, but I need more cardio. And that's just a fact. So I've been trying to figure out what I can do for cardio that I actually enjoy. And just by happenstance, I have been trying to get into this spin class at my gym for literal months. It's always full and I never really understood why. I got into one of his classes because he did this like first come first serve Fridays. And I was amazed at his class. He has built this like community of spin enthusiasts and just created something really awesome at a very local gym. I will link his Instagram down below. His name is Spin with David. Amazing. And I actually told him today that I really credit a lot of my weight loss to him because I wouldn't be doing... Like I was initially doing 5 days a week in the gym for about an hour, lifting weights and not seeing any progress. And now I'm doing about 3 days a week, including I try to get it to at least one of his classes a week. And I just really noticed a change in my body. I've noticed a change in my endurance. I've noticed a change in so many things. He just gets you in that fat burning zone. But more than that, he's just a really good person. He's really nice. And that's that. People love his classes for a reason. But again, he's just awesome. I don't know. So I will link his stuff down below too. I'll link anything I talk about down below. But I have to do cardio in order to get anywhere. But I have noticed that I've seen more progress by doing 3-day intensive workouts than I did when I was doing 5 days a week. And the thing is, when I was doing 5 days a week, the 2 days that I was off, I was off. I wasn't doing any NEAT, non-exercise activity, blah, blah, blah. Wasn't doing anything like that. I was literally doing nothing. And now I'm really trying on days when I'm not working out, I'm still doing something active, so I'm walking outside or doing whatever. So that leads me to my next thing. I'm the type of person, I always have to have something to look forward to, right? So I decided to sign up for a half marathon just for fun. So that's something else that I haven't started training for, but I will be training for soon. I just feel like I'm ready. Like, I don't know why. Like, I just feel like cardiovascularly, I'm ready for like the first time ever. But I'm not going to talk about that until I've actually started training and stuff. But that's what I've been doing for exercise. Those are the things that have really helped me. So now I want to get into diet. And diet for me is something that is very personal. I struggle with chronic IBS that is, to be perfectly frank, a hindrance on my life. And I'm not being dramatic when I say that. I mean that sincerely. It's something that when I'm flaring up, it's very frustrating. I have IBS-M, which is IBS mixed, which means I have constipation and I have diarrhea, both. I'm so blessed. So basically what my body does, or what my body did, because I'll talk about that, I found something that helps. But what my body did previously is that I had constant stomach pain. Like, there was not a day that went by that I didn't have a stomach ache. But I would notice for a few days I wouldn't be able to go to the bathroom. Now, when I wasn't flaring up, I still had not normal poop like most people have. If you don't like talking about poop, this is like not the part of the video. I'll put a timestamp. But it would be very soft and like almost diarrhea, but not quite. I never had like normal poop, like, like I would see this is so disgusting, but like I would see memes about poop and I'd be like, whose poop looks like that? Like, that is so weird. For me, on a day when I wasn't flaring up, I averaged about 5 times a day that I was going to the bathroom, and it was almost like clockwork. And then I would notice for about 3 days I wouldn't be able to go at all, and I would be like, yep, here it goes. Like, I'm going to start this process. And I would have about 3 days of intense stomach pain, intense bloating, just horrible pain in my stomach. And then for anywhere between 1 week to 3 weeks, I would have diarrhea. And one of my worst flare-ups happened right before I started this diet that I'm going to talk about. And I had a flare-up for 3 weeks, and I was going to the bathroom like almost 14 times a day. So not the best. And it was like diarrhea bathroom. So not the best, not where I wanted to be in my life. So I started cutting things out. I started cutting out things that I knew bothered my stomach. And unfortunately for me, some of the things that bother my stomach are milk, enriched bleached white flour, or pretty much any flour to begin with, especially when it's processed, and sugar. I have certain fruits that really fuck up my stomach. Like, I cannot eat an apple. If I eat an apple, I will be in the bathroom for hours. Like, it just doesn't work for me. So I was looking into different things. I've tried the FODMAP diet, wasn't a fan of it. It's too restrictive, and some of the foods didn't really affect me. So I was just cutting things out for no reason. I tried a vegan diet. It helped for a few months, and then I had one of the worst flare-ups I've ever had, where I was very close to being hospitalized because my kidneys weren't functioning correctly. So there was that. I tried just vegetarian. That didn't work. So, and then I tried the fuck it diet where I ate everything, and that one obviously didn't work. And I've also tried the whole, eat things in moderation, they won't affect you as bad. I tried that, and literally one slice of pizza will make me have a flare-up. So that idea doesn't work for me either. So I have been looking into things and doing a lot of research. I will say the one mistake that I've made is that I don't have a regular doctor anymore, and I don't have a gastroenterologist. I went to a gastroenterologist. I'd already been diagnosed with IBS, and Crohn's had already been rolled out and all that stuff. And she basically told me I needed to treat my anxiety. But I will say that for anyone out there who has that same ideology, when I was treating my anxiety, I still had IBS. So that wasn't the root of the problem. So basically the doctor that I had before, and just to preface this, I went to a doctor on a military hospital, so people do change, and that was part of the problem. Is I had a doctor and then she left, and I don't like the new doctor. But I did a lot of research on my own, and my husband's also a medical professional. Not that he's my doctor, but I'm just saying. And I also kind of took what my doctor said, and my doctor said that basically with her patients, she does trial and error, and if she has a patient that something works for them, then that's what works for them. She even gave me the example of like she has a patient that has like fibromyalgia maybe, or like something else stomach related, who said that like eating Greek yogurt with every meal helps her for some reason. And she was like, then eat Greek yogurt for every meal, or with every meal, you know, do whatever makes you feel good. So that's kind of the approach that I took. So I've been doing a very controversial diet. I know I'm going to get some flashback, you know, something, backlash. That's what I'm thinking of. For this, I'm glad I'm not a big YouTuber because I feel like the backlash would be worse. But I'm trying a non-strict keto diet, and I'm not trying to strictly be in ketosis. I'm just trying to really watch my carb intake. And I wanted to talk about that in reference to my IBS. I've been doing it for about 4 weeks now, which I'm going to continue to, and I am going to update you. If I find that like it doesn't work anymore, I'm going to talk about it and what I'm doing instead. Because I didn't start it for weight loss. I started this for my IBS. And I've noticed I have had a flare up this month, so it's not like I have been completely flare up free. And on top of it, it was, you know, it was around the time I ate some sugar. So when I say non-strict, I do mean that I have cheated. I'm not intentionally cheating, but like I have been like in social situations and stuff where I'm like, I'm gonna eat something because why not? But being mindful of my portion sizes and things like that, and not going crazy. Like I would literally used to be like, well, I'm treating myself, so I'm gonna have an appetizer, a beer, a huge entree, and a dessert 'cause I deserve it. No, girl. I'm not doing that these days. So I had like a cookie with ice cream. So not the best, but I was still following my diet all the way through. And you know, doing that. So I found that when I did flare up, the flare up was a lot different. I'm not experiencing constipation. That is something that like a ton of people experience on keto. I have not experienced that at all. I've experienced like the poop I see memes about. Like solid real poop. And to me, I'm like, oh my god, I think it's something in my teeth. But to me that was like amazing because that was something I never experienced before. And when I did have a flare up, it wasn't anything that was like what I'm used to. I wasn't going to the bathroom 14 times a day. I went to the bathroom about 5 times a day, and I would get an intense cramp and then I have to go to the bathroom, and I would be done within 10 minutes. Normally, like there were times when I was flaring up that I would have to call out of work because I would have to go to the bathroom and be in there for at least 20 minutes. And that's just not feasible. So that has not been the case. And I've been feeling really good. Like a lot of the things that I've been experiencing have gone away. I will say days when I work out, I do incorporate more carbs, not carbs the way that I used to, but what I mean is like today I had 2 tortilla pizzas with like the carb balanced tortillas, and that's something I don't incorporate daily. I also went to Starbucks and I don't incorporate that daily. So just things that I wouldn't normally incorporate, I incorporate on days when I do really heavy workouts. So it's basically 3 days a week. But on days when I'm not doing anything, I keep my carb count incredibly low. And I just found that that really works for me. Something about that is just like really vibing with me. I've had to up my water intake. That's number one. I've noticed dehydration is an issue on the keto diet, and I don't know if that's something people talk about. I know it's something people say is good in the beginning, but I've continuously had to drink, like I drink at least 2 of these, and I don't know how big these are. but I'm always thirsty. And I've also incorporated electrolytes because I have to have them because of dehydration issues. So that's something I've noticed with it. I do get tired. Like, I do notice that if I'm doing a lot and I'm not eating any carbs, like, I will get tired. So that's why, I keep things like really dark chocolate in my desk. So on days when I've worked out, I can take a piece of dark chocolate. Or there's been some days where someone brings in, or someone offers me an Oreo, and I'm like, yeah, let me have an Oreo. But the keto diet has really taught me about like portion control and not needing to eat a lot. So when I am cheating, which I don't like calling it cheating because that is like a disordered thing, like it's not cheating, but when I have gone off the diet for 1 second, I'm able to realize that I don't need to eat huge portions of things. I can eat just one or just a bite and be okay. So that's all for the diet. I don't want to get too far into it. I do want to update you guys on this because things can change. At some point I will need to carb cycle, but that's not something that I need to do right now. So I wanted to talk about what motivates me. And the thing that definitely motivates me is just being healthy. I want to be here for a long time and I want to feel good about myself, and I don't want to be uncomfortable. And I noticed that I was uncomfortable, not just like in my skin, like actually physically uncomfortable, like, getting tired, having joint pain and things like that. Just things that I shouldn't be experiencing at 26 years old. Also, things that are motivating me is just doing things I enjoy. If I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to do it. And also eating foods that I enjoy. And when I say enjoy, I think we do this thing where we're like, it has to taste good. We have to eat things, I want to taste something that tastes like a cupcake. Well, it's not going to taste like a cupcake all the time. You know what I mean? Like, there are things, you have to stop worrying about whether it tastes good. And I don't mean to think like, oh, we need to just eat food as fuel. No. I mean just thinking of food differently. It can be good and it can taste good, but it doesn't have to be like orgasmically delicious every single time, So those things have definitely motivated me. And also working out 3 times a week as opposed to 5 days a week, but really going hard on those 3 days, that has motivated me. So, and then just to talk about why I decided to do this, it was all for health reasons. I didn't feel like I was healthy, and so I wanted to do that. So I want to talk about my progress. I don't have progress pictures because that's not something that I've done. I figured I would show you a little snippet of some things that have changed. So this is my body right now. Is it in focus? So this shirt was one that even a month ago was a bit small on me in the stomach region. These pants, and they don't now. So my body's changed a little bit. I've lost roughly 5 pounds. But I'm not like fitness model status. But like I said, I will post some pictures up, like maybe some comparisons of myself in similar situations, but weight has been lost. I still have a long way to go, but I've noticed a change in my body, so I thought I would share with you. And I always lose weight in my face first. It's just a thing. So you may have noticed this on Instagram already. I've gotten comments. One of my friends asked me if I facetuned my jawline, and I was like, no, I didn't. So I know I don't notice weight loss on myself because I see myself every day. So why would I notice it? But my friends tend to notice it first. So that's it, guys. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And yeah, if I have anything to update you on next month, then I'll make this a monthly thing. But if I don't, then I don't. But yeah, I'm enjoying my progress so far. I'm enjoying everything I'm doing. So I hope this isn't a honeymoon stage. I hope it's like here to stay. But I feel like putting it out on the internet is a good way to hold yourself accountable. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!